masking my image. So that is what you can do within Google Slides to be able to make your images maybe look a little more in line with what you're doing in your Hyperdoc. So, and then images here. If you were to add an image, you can you just have some image options, which is a little different. So if I right-click, I can be able to crop here to be able to pull in to change sizes. The crop would be the black. So if I wanted to make that smaller, I could hit enter and it would save. If I click the three dots and hit image options, it allows me to do whatever I want here. So size and rotation, what I want the text to do around it. Any type of, if I want to make it transparent or not, or recolor. Maybe you don't want it to stand out quite as big. So those are all just some things that you can do. Linking, I'm going to go here, and so say you'll see these links also in this presentation. So say, for example, if I am, I want to click a link to where, for my headshot when I was at JMU, if I want that to go to JMU, all I have to do is click that, and then hit the link button. I could put the URL in that I would like. And so if I click here, it would take me then to JMU's website. So say, for example, though, I don't want it to go to a website. I want it to go somewhere else in this document. So when I click on my picture, I want it to go to the first slide, to go to slide 1. So all I would do there is click on slides in the presentation, and then click on slide 1. And so now, when that picture is clicked, it would automatically go to slide 1. So if you want students to go to a particular slide within your document, you can create that maybe on your title slide to take students, if they're choosing a specific option, it will take them to whatever slide that you want them to do. So looking back, if I'm coming back here to the presentation, the one last thing I wanted to be able to look at are tools. So incorporating different tools. You know, a lot of people say, okay, so I have a Hyperdoc, I have a choice board, what are my kids doing with it? So maybe YouTube's a great tool that you can use. Maybe you find a short video that you want your students to watch to give them some background knowledge. Maybe there is an expert in the field that has a TED Talk that you can post a link to or embed within your slides. A lot of times, Quizlet is a great place if students are doing a review or a vocab study. Creating a Quizlet and having a link to that within your Hyperdoc is something that's easy to do. We talked about Padlets in the previous session. That's a great way to use the share function if you're using share within a Hyperdoc. Padlet's a great way for students to be able to share kind of what's going on with them. Edpuzzle is a good tool that can be used in conjunction both with YouTube and YouTube and TED Ed. In essence, what Edpuzzle does, it allows you to put checks within the videos to ask students questions, to have them respond or engage with the video in a certain way. So maybe you ask a multiple choice question, how they feel about something, or an open-ended question, and students can be able to write responses within Edpuzzle that you would then receive based off the video. I also included a document here at the bottom that deals with a lot of resources that can be placed within Hyperdocs that are community building. And we know that that's going to be a huge focus for teachers in the fall, is building community with our students, not knowing what that's going to look like or what position our students are in coming back either into the classroom or joining with us virtually. So we are going to jump into some work time. You've got a lot of information here. The way we're going to do it, we're going to make it a little easier by having smaller groups. We are going to be here to help you through this. And the way it's going to work is we're going to have 2 breakout rooms and then the main room. And so the way this is going to work is you're going to have your choice of where you want to go. So if you are kind of more STEM focused, so maybe some math, some science, if you're kind of looking at that and you kind of want some feedback and to be with a group of your peers, I'm going to need you to rename yourself in Zoom. So how do you do that? I'm sure it's the first question. So if you hover over your picture, you're going to see 3 dots on the top right-hand corner. You're going to click those 3 dots, and one of the options is going to be to rename. So renaming, if you want to be with STEM teachers in breakout room 1, you're going to rename yourself to STEM, so that way I can add you to that breakout room. If you are looking at humanities, so if you're more of maybe a history or English, and you want to be with those content area folk, Adam's going to be handling that room. I'd ask that you would rename yourself to humanities. So you'll be clicking on the 3 dots, top right-hand corner of your picture, and then rename yourself either STEM or humanities. If I do not see you renamed, then I'm assuming you want to stay in the main room and kind of talk about or kind of work through start of the year stuff or SEL. So a couple things before we jump into breakout rooms. If you want to be in the room, but you're kind of putting your head down, you want to work, and you don't want to hear that conversation going on, if you go down to the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom, you'll see the audio button. You can click the arrow next to it and choose disconnect audio. And what that'll do, it disconnects the speakers and your microphone. So that way you can't hear anybody else, they can't hear you, but you stay in the Zoom. If you change your mind, you'll want to talk, or you have a question, or you want to hear what's going on, all you have to do is click that same button that says connect audio, and it'll connect you right back to it. So take a couple seconds, think about where you want to go, STEM, humanities, or SEL, start of the year. Rename yourself accordingly, and I'm going to go ahead and drop you into your breakout room. We'll come together back at the very end just to kind of wrap things up, talk about briefly about our experience, and then talk about what the end of the session looks like. So I'll give you guys a warning when that's going to happen. So go ahead, rename yourself, and I'll go ahead and start dropping you into the correct breakout room.
I can't even see the 3 dots to rename myself.
You need to hover over the top of your video, Julie. Put your cursor up at the top of your top right corner as you look at it. There should be 3 dots on a blue background. Where you
Hello.
Hello.
No.
If anybody has any questions or wants me to go over a demo something, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll be quiet and let you work away.
As a math teacher, I just wanted to know where there might be more math symbols and how to do more math stuff, because that's been very difficult to do anything with math on a slide or a doc. Takes me forever.
So for you, as a teacher, I'm going to post in the chat a name of a Google Chrome extension you want to add. And it allows you, I used to be a math teacher as well, and it was impossible to add math to Google Slides. So I'll post a link to it's called Equatio.
Yeah, I do have that, but
Okay.
I haven't used it. I haven't used it a ton, but I guess I just need to go practice on it because.
Yeah, that'll allow you to, like, it has a
Okay.
bunch of pre-written formulas.
Gotcha. That is a great site, though. If anybody else needs it, it'd probably be good too.
Yeah, I just added it to the
Awesome.
group chat. What it does is it allows you to type out math, and then it puts it into your slideshow as a little image. And then when you click on that image, it guys.
Out of the group. I got kicked. I'd like to hear from some of the science teachers. What are you planning on doing for like class? If we're in a hybrid model, are you going to do lecture in the 2 days and activities at home, or are you going to do activities in school, lecture at home? How are you going to incorporate hands-on stuff?
Right now, I am planning on doing most of their learning at home. And then when they come in, it's more of solidifying group socially distancing discussions and hands-on activities. I think one of the biggest things right now I'm just trying to grapple with is, am I going to do a digital notebook with the students who are coming face-to-face, so that way I can limit the sharing of supplies, and then that way I can just make it able to print out for students who might need written copies. So that's kind of what I'm grappling with at the moment.
For math, I've been trying to find a good person on YouTube that has a lot of the content already made in like really short, really well explained videos. Like you were saying, where they could watch that video at home. And I'm going to put like just a couple real simple, easy questions to go with it, and maybe mark a couple for them to write in their notes. And then when they come to class, instead of worrying about them trying to type math on their computer, spend time in class where they actually will write it out, or we do some kind of like data collection lab or hands-on activity.
Yeah, and our class sections are about an hour and a half long, so I'm not too worried that if I give them the majority of their learning at home, we won't have plenty of time to really work on getting it solidified with in-person contact.
I was going to say it gives you an opportunity to do the flipped classroom. I mean, especially with digital, you're going to have to do the flipped, I would think. And we have one-to-one Chromebook distribution, so I think we're going to be virtual for the first 9 weeks at least. And so that's what I'm planning to do, is the flipped class. So,
And then we're
done
going to,
that before.
yeah, we're going to have some who choose to be all virtual. I mean, right now, I think things might change tomorrow, but right now it's all. So you have to have something for them to do. Even if you say, well, we're going to do this in the classroom, those kids who are going to be home all the time by choice are going to need something more to do.
You're muted. Or
Sorry.
quiet.
In Fauquier County, the 100% virtual right now, the decision has been that they are going to be taken care of by Virtual Virginia. So we will have nothing to do with those kids until they come back to our class.
Yeah, I think that's true in Amherst County too, now that you mentioned that. We haven't really gotten started yet, so it's hard to know what's going to happen.
Is anybody taking the Getting Started in the New Year session tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah.
So I'll be leading that with Adam, and part of what we'll be doing, like the way we've created it is because it's going to be hard to plan online and in-person content. We sort of design it so that somebody could be self-paced and go through it online on their own. But if you have them in class, it's easy to just demonstrate something that for the other people you would post in a video. Just because you never know when like someone who's in your class doesn't make it that one day that week. And so you're going to need it online anyways, instead of like double planning, just like planning for online, but you're able to do it in person if you need to.
Also, if your county's going to have the SPED kids come all the time, you've got to have something else for them to do. Even if they're not in your room, what are they going to do when they really shouldn't be there, kind of thing. So they're going to need more instruction.
I hope our counties will have a little bit of sense. I've struggled with thinking about that too, because occasionally, not always, I'm not stereotyping, but your SPED kids, if they are confused or not understanding something, then you might have a behavior issue. And I would rather that, I think that's when we've got to lean on our SPED inclusion people on the second day, because you would just be repeating. They can't hear you repeat the stuff and do something new too. I mean, there's already a learning issue there, so that's a tricky one.
I'm also in Fauquier County, and one of my concerns we're blended, and we'll have the 3 days remote learning for the kids, and I don't think we're really allowed to do that flipped classroom because we have such sketchy internet throughout the county. So I'm kind of struggling with how much digital stuff we can do on the 3 days, because we have to have options for the kids that aren't digital. I'm just kind of really trying to wrap my head around all that.
Yeah, because like if you've been to a lot of these sessions, there's like the Hyperdocs, Flipgrid, Padlet, but if you have to have it available for offline people, those don't necessarily work. So you'll probably have to really keep it simple and just stick with, like, if you've recorded a video, like you can download that and put it on a flash drive, but not where they're like posting and interacting online.
Yeah.
It's like, it's this simple, like record some audio. Maybe you could do a kind of a Hyperdoc, but not necessarily based on internet articles or videos unless you're able to download them to a flash drive.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping we can do something like a choice board where they do have non-tech options in addition to tech options.
Yeah.
I hope.
That's not necessarily true about the flipped classroom, because in our math meeting yesterday, for Auburn, they were talking about, and you're at Cedar Lee, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they were talking about, I mean, they're really, the math department at least is really trying to go the flipped classroom. So they're working on ways to whether they're going to download the content when they're in the school or do something. So there's ways to get around it for the whole flipped classroom thing. I mean, I know we have sketchy internet, but there's definitely ways to get around the flipped classroom.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Hopefully, as a county, like middle school, I'm at Taylor, we'll be able to get together from the different schools and share some of that stuff too. That would be great.
I'm in Cambridge, and our district said that there's a state contract to get MiFi Wi-Fi devices for our students who don't have internet access, and they said that it's something that a lot of the districts are looking at, using the state contract at a discounted price so that everybody will have that internet access.
I guess I feel kind of like that math is its own animal, and I'm just very, I don't know, I guess just because I'm just so visual with how I teach, I just really worry how to get all that across still with algebra. It just, I don't know, I guess everybody will be in the same boat, but I just think math is its own animal.
Have you used the Explore Learning website?
I will write that down. I have not
ExploreLearning.com is an amazing virtual math lesson thing with almost every topic you can imagine in math. It has these gizmos that the children use and manipulate as they follow through a guide that they can either do virtually or in a printed format.
Okay.
It is, you do have to pay for it.
No, ExploreLearning.com is free. I've never paid for it. I've had it for 7 years.
Gizmos is a district.
No, I don't pay for it. I've never paid for it.
You might have somebody who works for Explore offer it to your division. That's how we get it free.
Okay.
But you don't have somebody in your division. It's in Charlottesville, so there's a possibility if you're in Amherst that's something you could work out. At least it used to be in Charlottesville. A friend of mine.
So you say I need to get some kind of representative to offer it to the county?
They may be willing to work with you, particularly right now.
Yeah.
Group.
We pay about $5,000 for 4 licenses a year, so it's.
Oh, really? I guess I'm just lucky. I have never once. I've had it the whole time I've been in.
Where are you?
I'm on the Eastern Shore.
Oh.
Well, that's weird. I mean, we're right outside of Charlottesville, and we always have a parent who works there. We get it for free, and at least our school, you know. But yeah,
I will investigate that. Thank you.
Has anybody met with like anyone in the county above you that has talked about allowing you not to have to cover every bit of the curriculum, but like looking at a pared down version of it?
We haven't had any of those conversations yet. We just know the first like 2 or 3 weeks, they don't want us to even do content. They just want us to do social emotional learning stuff.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, then where does the pacing guide go? So
Well,
out the window.
They're working on it.
But
I know they're
test
working
right
on
away.
essential
That's how I feel.
SOLs right now.
That's good.
okay.
All right, see everybody back in the main room. Thanks for sharing all the resources.
So excited about the 2 that we're having on Wednesdays. They're this Wednesday, but then they're also on the Wednesday of next week and the Wednesday, August 5th. So you have 3 chances to get into those 2 workshops if you haven't done those before. Some of the other workshops are repeats, but those are brand new and should be great. So try to get in those if you haven't already. Now be quiet. Thanks. Oh, and to register, all you have to do is go to vascal.org. That's it. www.vascl.org. Homepage will show you all the workshops that are still open. Go to it, click on register. Thanks.
Awesome. She gets paid a commission if you're wondering why she's talking so fast. So real quick at the end, hopefully that went well. Couple slides. One thing I would love for you to do if you want to come to some other sessions, like Liza said, please join us. Thank you for Vassal for having us. I appreciate your time. One thing too, a video here, if you want to do a quick self-check, once you get a Hyperdoc created, if it's more than just a worksheet, it's a great video that you can listen to and kind of reflect on your creation. Lastly, feedback. If you want to receive credit for renewal credit, please complete the feedback here. Do take the feedback seriously to be able to go through and look at potential new topics as we're working to create professional development. Make sure that your email is spelled correctly. That is sometimes a hindrance to people receiving their certificate. So make sure your name's spelled correctly and also your email is spelled correctly.
You have to request the form at the end. You fill out the feedback, and at the end, you have to request the recertification. Don't just assume it's coming. Sorry.
Yes. And then lastly, thank you, Adam and Eric, for your help. I appreciate it. If you need to reach out to any of us, our personal emails are here. Please don't hesitate. We love supporting fellow educators to be able to talk through ideas, to be able to workshop them, to be able to help support our students. So once again, if anybody has any questions, I'll hang around for a few minutes. If not, I know we went over. I appreciate you hanging around for the extra few minutes. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. Has this been recorded through the whole presentation?
I think not, but.
Yeah, we got some of it. I hit the
Sorry.
record. So we'll have information to get the recording of what was recorded in an email to you.
Right, we will follow up. They'll follow up with email and give you what is recorded there and any resources that would be helpful too.